So we talked about Jared Verse, right? Another player that we talked about around this time last year, maybe a month from now, last year, was we knew we were in a hard spot with quarterbacks, and we talked about Jaden Daniels and how that would be. I think that was my pick if we could get him, but trading up would be a bit of a reach. Bro is balling. He looks every bit of what was advertised and more. His composure is crazy.
So I got a little reversal question I got to ask you after we just had this 17-minute debate about coaches and GMs, right? Um so we had a coach here who led us to the Super Bowl, which we ultimately failed. We all know the story, the 28-3, yada yada yada. He didn't survive as a head coach for many seasons beyond that. And the general narrative around him was he was a terrible coach. He was too much of a bro and too soft. And he left, went to Dallas, uh, took DC jobs there. That's what he did before he did head coach here. And now he finds himself as a head coach again in his first year in Washington. They had the second overall pick last year, and they're in the division championship,
Conference,
the conference championship. My bad. Does he get that credit, or does
hundred
the
percent.
credit belong to the outstanding play of Jaden Daniels and company?
Oh, it's split, and it's more than just them, right? They said that Cliff Kingsbury was the quarterback whisperer when he got fired out in Arizona. He came in. He's had a heavy hand in, I think, the development and definitely the play calling and scheme that is being ran by Jaden Daniels. You also have the owner, right, who allowed for all this stuff to happen. He spent big money this offseason. He brought in Austin Eckler. He brought in a couple of players, right, where the old what was the I don't remember Washington's former owner's name, but he was
Dan Snyder or something like that.
Dan Snyder. Yeah, he was not liked, or
He was a questionable character.
questionable character to say the least, right? So the new owner came in spending money. Dan Quinn definitely gets some credit, and I didn't want Dan out because he was some softy or that I thought he couldn't coach, but I thought um, he didn't have a good enough offensive acumen, and the people that he brought in to run that side of the ship were not good. Like Sark's having some success at Texas, but I hated his play call here.
Sark
Um,
Sark
just a
did a
bunch of
good
bubble
job.
screens, man. He did not, dog.
He
He
did.
had good players. It was one of Julio's last like fire years. Matt Ryan had a good year, right? I don't. No. He was a shell of Kyle.
I personally think that the demise of Dan Quinn had more to do with Thomas Dimitroff than it did Dan's ability to coach and hire coordinators. I mean, he's the one that put together the staff that included Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur, right? Like,
Yeah.
the guy could see the talent, right? Like, he put the staff together that was
Mastermind. He
what
built the team,
yeah,
right?
one of the most prolific offenses, right? But I think Thomas Dimitroff and his inability to draft defensive players outside of Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, and Keanu Neal, who had, a couple good
Devondre
years.
Campbell,
Yeah,
Desmond Trufant, Robert Alford. He missed.
he missed a lot. Had
Thomas
some
Dimitroff's problem for me was the contracts. He just
the,
signed back contracts.
the
Rolling all that
contracts.
money over was terrible. That's why he got canned.
His
Did
free
they get fired the
agency.
same year?
No.
Okay. First thing I think of free agency is Alex Mack.
But defensive wise, who did he sign that really was a game changer? I mean, we had the year of Dontari Poe, or a couple years where he was okay, but he wasn't.
He was old at that, not old, but
I think he might have made the Pro Bowl 1 year.
With us?
Yeah, I think so. But either way, he missed on a lot of edge rushers.
I mean, he drafted your boy,
Vic.
Vic Beasley, right? He brought in Jonathan Abraham.
He also drafted Tack McKinley, Jamal Anderson.
You're gonna have misses. I think
Rashid Hagman. Who else? There was a bunch of misses. Now there was one. I think Thomas was still the who was the guy that we signed years and years ago from the Vikings who did absolutely nothing for us? Do you remember?
Vikings.
Maybe Edwards. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But either way.
Thomas Dimitroff was fired from the Falcons along with head coach Dan Quinn.
Okay.
Following the team's 1-5 start. So they were fired as a tandem.
Okay, I stand corrected. It was Mike Smith that was fired first.
Yeah, because he drafted some of the Smitty's teams.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Thomas Dimitroff was the GM for the Falcons for a long time. And he hasn't gotten a job since.
I wonder why that is.
Because he had a bad track record.
I mean, generally you get second chances, though. Right? Yeah. Dan Quinn is he's a head coach again.
Yeah.
Is it the same for GMs? I honestly don't know.
I doubt.
Well, he worked for the Patriots, right? He was a second chance for us.
He worked for the Patriots along with he still works for us. He got transitioned. Scott Pioli, but not Scott Pioli. Who is he was the CEO for the Falcons. He got moved into a different position. Now he deals more with United. Came from Tampa Bay.
Rich McKay,
thank you.
Yeah.
Didn't they all work together in New England?
They did.
Yeah.
Him, Scott Pioli, and Thomas Dimitroff, yeah.
So. But anyways, Washington, they did their thing. They beat the snot out of the Lions. It was not even close.
The Battle of the Dans. They even looked the same a little bit. They had the same facial hair.
They do favor one another. But yeah, man, it will be interesting. Who do you think wins, Washington or Philly?
That's tough because they split this season. This will be their third meeting. Saquon is just incredible.
I mean, what was it?
He had 200 yards in the game.
A backwards hurdle over someone, yeah, that's enough said. Someone that can pull that off in real game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But then you got Jalen Hurts, which I think Jalen Hurts is actually really good. But he plays down to his competition a lot. Whereas you got Washington, who's just like super chippy, super physical. That's one thing that Dan Quinn always preached here is I want to be fast and physical. Man, Brittany was watching that game with me, the Redskins game. She's like, man, these teams do not like each other, huh? They're hitting each other hard. And I was like, yeah, they are. It's going to be even more chippy with the division rival.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, though, I think Philly's been there, and they probably won it.
I think I think Washington gets it.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think Jalen Hurts is banged up. I
Yeah,
know.
he had to put on a brace during that game.
I know. Philly's missing N'Kobe Dean on defense. Although, I mean, they still got Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, other Bulldogs doing their thing.
Jalen went crazy, right? He's getting double teamed almost every possession, and when he's not, he's a literal wrecking ball.
The crazy thing is you got Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, N'Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Keely Ringo, Lewis Seen, all these dogs on that defense that played together in the national championship run.
You have to think that plays into how successful they are together, right? They already had chemistry, a rapport with one another. Your unity as a unit, your togetherness as a unit, just so I'm not overusing the word unity, is invaluable. You can see it happening in the NBA. It's been happening for a while, like players teaming up with their college teammates. But in the NFL, it hasn't really been a thing until the Eagles started doing it. Like the Raiders tried it. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams were teammates. You have some of it, but the Eagles have just done it to the extreme with their defense. They've crafted their defense based off of Kirby Smart's dogs.
Yeah. I mean, you see it with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, they have that chemistry.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you don't, to your point, you don't see it.
Drafted for one another.
Yeah.
Right? Like, went out and got them. Tua and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. But you don't see it to the level that the Eagles have done it. And you don't generally see it on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
So it's special. I hope those guys... Like,
how many starters did you name? Like 6, 7?
Yeah.
All played together in college. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, it's wild. And, I think it should be an interesting matchup. I hope all those guys play well. They perform well. I hope they're good games. Right? We don't really have a dog in the fight. But if I'm gonna make predictions, I think Washington squeaks it out. I think.
Seaside.
Jaden Daniels runs away with the rookie of the year.
Yeah, I think that's in the bag for sure.
Yeah.
If it wasn't already, which I think it was, it's definitely in there now.
Yeah. So you asked about the AFC, right? How about the Ravens just absolutely sucking in the playoffs every year?
Yeah, it's not a good look. Lamar Jackson is probably one of, if not, he's probably top 3 players I like to watch because of what he can do and what he does. It's like magic. He did not have a good game. He did get him in a position to get to overtime, and obviously Mark Andrews dropped that ball, which is crushing. Now, it's not all on him. Literally, Lamar threw a pick, which I don't understand what he was doing on that one. I don't know if the receiver just gave up on the route, but the fumble
where he tripped over his offensive lineman.
Yeah, it was. He snapped it super high. He had to jump and do a spin to get back down, and as he's trying to avoid getting sacked, he trips over his offensive line. The ball slips out, and it's taken like 60 yards the other way.
Yeah.
That definitely resulted in points for them. So it's not great, but he led that drive. Obviously, Derrick Henry had a big hand in it. That was one of the only other good games.
Yeah. So the general assumption for quite some time is the MVP will be either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Do you think that game influences the outcome?
I do not. I was talking to Demo about this on Friday. We pulled up at Topgolf, and it was just he and I for a little bit, and I was talking about, the MVP, what the award stands for versus what it's been over the last couple of years, right? So it's the most valuable player, not the best statistics. You take Josh Allen off of the Bills, I don't know that they make the playoffs, let alone, host playoff games.
So
You take Lamar off, I think they're definitely a huge downgrade, but having Derrick Henry and one of the top-ranked defenses in the league would still probably get them close to the playoffs. They would be better than the Bills. If you take both of them out, the Bills are much more impacted by the loss of Josh Allen than the Ravens are Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't think they would have success. Let me change that. But like the Ravens aren't going on a run without Lamar Jackson. But Josh Allen means more to the Bills than Lamar Jackson does to the Ravens.
So you went into Sunday night. Was it Sunday?
Yeah.
You went into last night with Josh Allen as your MVP already.
Yeah.
So that's why you're saying it didn't really change the outcome. But do you think
it's a regular season award as well, right? You're not supposed to take into account the playoffs. Now, do they? I'm sure, but
I mean, I definitely think it influences it, even if it's not supposed to.
And Lamar Jackson's playoff performance did not help him.
Recency bias is real.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think if there was any question, the playoff performance should have cemented Josh Allen as the MVP.
I will say that. I agree. The other thing I want to say is Lamar Jackson I think he had a superior year statistically. Right, so if it was just based on stats, it should go to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But based on the M and the V and the P, I think it's Josh Allen's award. And Demo actually hit me to that. All right, so shout out to him for changing my mind.
He's a Bills fan, so he's biased.
He is, but it was still a logical argument.
He was persuasive enough.
Yeah.
So their opponent, the Chiefs, I think it's 7 years in a row that Patty Mahomes has been in the conference championship. Who you got?
I'm gonna go. I still gotta go Chiefs, man. I don't think that Josh Allen gets that monkey off his back, man. In the playoffs, where it matters, Patty Mahomes is 3-0.
All of those games.
Regular season, they're 1-4. He's 1-4 against Josh Allen regular season. He's 3-0 in the playoffs.
But all those games have been instant classics.
They have.
And I expect the same out of this one.
Yeah. I think so last year when they played in the playoffs, it was the first time they were in Buffalo. And Patty still got it done.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing. I think their defense is better this year, the Chiefs. Their offense is definitely taking a step back, but I think the Chiefs pull it out.
Who do you want to win?
The Chiefs.
Is that Kansas City family?
I told you about that, right? Or maybe I didn't. So I went up there this year, and I realized that a lot of my family in Kansas City, not a lot, but the passionate football fans in KC do not like Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Yeah.
What is
their Patriots fans?
Ooh.
Right? I say, dang, cuz, what's happening with that? What's up with that? They don't like Patrick Mahomes. Now, my grandmother, she's a huge fan, and obviously he's royalty in the city of Kansas. All right, both sides, Kansas and Missouri. But from a family perspective, it was more than enough people to surprise me. They are not on the Patty Mahomes bandwagon.
Okay, so you're not outside influenced by relatives.
Well, yeah. I mean, I lived there for a little bit, they're not in the NFC, so I don't feel like a traitor, rooting for them in their brightest moments. And the other side is I like to see greatness achieved. Right? A lot of people are
Haters.
got that hater in their blood. Like, no, I don't want him to break. I don't want him to do that. I would love to see him three-peat.
I
I
think
just think that's something. It probably won't be done again anytime
it's never
soon.
been done.
It's never been done, but I'm saying even now, right, with the parity in the league has gotten better, in my opinion, over the last couple of years. So the likelihood that another dynasty comes up, to me, is less likely now than it was before the Chiefs.
I like Big Red as a coach.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against KC. I think it would be cool to see them win. I would also like to see Josh Allen win one because I am a fan of his game.
Yeah.
And there is one side of the Kansas City Chiefs that it's hard to root for, and that's the favoritism that they seem to get from the Zebras.
The Jordan calls.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you watch the video I sent you? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And I think it's pretty interesting because there's no denying that there is a level of protection. I think the same was true for Tom Brady, and I think that's what garnered a lot of hatred towards him as well. But he does get favorable calls where everyone else in the league is getting beat up and not getting the same treatment. And it's hard to root for something like that. But there's no denying the talent. There's no denying his gamemanship and his ability to get things done when the pressure's on.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't true, but I do think it is. He gets basically league calls. They're protecting their moneymaker. The video you sent me was with Lamar getting tackled out of bounds, right?
Yeah,
but there were several.
There were several. It wasn't just Lamar. It was Jaden Daniels. It was Jared Goff. They were all plays from this weekend that weren't called,
Right.
Where there was a play that Patrick Mahomes got a penalty where he didn't even get touched. It was the two Texans defenders colliding over the top of him.
And you know that they try not to, or what they say is they try not to make decisions that are going to influence the game. And it's been in Super Bowls that some of those GOAT calls have been made and had an impact on the game. So, yeah, it's not a good look. But it's not a bad enough look for me to root against them.
Yeah, no, and that's not what I'm saying. I was just making the point,
but
like
many will say that.
Many will, right? And that was my point, is that this is a reason why there are as many haters as there are, beyond the ones that are just going to hate success.
Mm.
The other group are just going to hate because of the favoritism, the benefit of the doubt that Kansas City gets where others don't.
Right. I mean, they got it against us this year.
They got it for the first 4 weeks of the season where
Yep, over and over and over.
Yeah. So you got Super Bowl Eagles
Chiefs,
Chiefs.
Match.
And I got I say who I would like to see. I'd like to see the Bills versus the Commanders.
There was a meme that I saw on Instagram before we jumped on, and it's a kid or a person standing on a path, right? And the path splits. There's like this castle with rainbows and trees and flowers, and it's the Commanders versus the Bills about it. And then there's this, Bowser-looking castle with lava and ghosts and ghouls, and it's the Chiefs versus the Eagles again. the sentiment
Oh
that she
yeah,
just expressed is, I think that's a national sentiment. There's another one that's like the percentage of the country that wants the Bills to win, and it's the entire country except for not even all of Kansas, just Kansas City. And then it's the same thing with the Philly, right? A little
yeah.
dot over Philly, and everybody else wants the Commanders to win.
That's how the same sentiment was with the CFP, where it's like
Mm,
the only part of the country that was rooting for Texas was Texas.
yeah.
The only part of the country that was rooting for Ohio State was Ohio,
Ohio State.
and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. And the rest of the country was pretty much rooting for Penn State.
But that's a part of our culture, man. That hater that we have in us. We all got a little bit of hater in us. You know, like Dan Quinn, if he goes on to win a Super Bowl this year, oh man, I'm gonna be pissed. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm gonna be mad as hell. I'm not wishing on his downfall, but I'm definitely not rooting for him. Right? That's that American hater in me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that there is a large amount of that in this country, but I also think it's people just get tired of the same thing over and over again. So the Commanders Bills is something fresh and new. Now,
Yeah.
if that started to be a trend, people would be hating on that. To your point,
As soon
and
as either
just
one of them win, they're now, elevated to the higher upper echelon of hatertude.
yeah, the amount of hatred that Georgia has received in the last 2 years after winning those two national
Yeah, bro.
titles is to a different level than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Back to back will do that to you, man.
Yeah. And part of it's hating greatness, and part of it is just wanting to see something different, right? Being bored.
You remember how many years it was that the NBA Finals was LeBron versus the Warriors?
3? Was it 3 in a
I think
row?
it was 4.
Because he won one and
Yeah.
lost 3? No. He lost one as the Heat to the Mavs. And then in Cleveland, he lost to them once and beat them once, right? And then left for the Lakers. Or did he lose to him twice?
Nah, he lost at least twice. So it was 4 years in a row.
Mm.
2018, the Warriors won it. 2017, the Warriors won it. 2016, the Cavs won it. And 2015, the Warriors won it.
Hmm.
And then the year before, so LeBron James was in the finals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row.
Different teams, though. So
Just two.
it's more than one.
He went from 4 years. He went from 4 years as the finals with one team to immediately going to 4 years with another team. That's very impressive.
How many years before that did Cleveland go, though? When he was in Cleveland coming out of high school? It was like 2000, 2007, right?
Yeah, good memory. 2007. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That Booby Miles.
Swept by the Spurs.
Yeah. The Spurs went how many years in a row?
It was on and off again between them and the Lakers. Spurs, Lakers, 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 Spurs, Lakers, Spurs.
Yeah.
Mavericks, Spurs. Lakers, Lakers, Lakers. Now that's boring.
Agreed.
Dang, that's wild, bro. So since 1999, 1999 through 2014, so it's 15 years. There were four, but really three teams that represented the West in every finals. Spurs, the Lakers, and Dallas. Dallas had two, and then the one team that snuck in there was the Thunder, and they lost to LeBron James.
And the Heat? Or
Yeah. Yeah, the Heat. Spurs, Lakers, 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 Spurs, Lakers, Spurs, Dallas, Spurs, Lakers, 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 Dallas, OKC, Spurs, Spurs.
that OKC team was fun to watch. That was the
that was
KD and
James Harden and Russ.
Yeah. Not dangerous, but you know. Westbrook? Westbrook?
I don't call him that.
You got too much respect.
Yeah, he just beat the brakes off your fantasy team. Nah, we actually were 5-4. But I beat the brakes off of Leroy. Shout out Leroy. This past week to take first place.
Have you made moves? Because I haven't made moves since like week 1.
Yeah.
It's probably why I'm in last, close to last.
Are you Matt's Majestic team?
Nope.
No, you're Who, What, When, Where, Kawhi. That's a great name. You're in 8th.
Out of 10?
Demo and Lil Matt. Yeah.
Let's go not last. I
Right.
got two solid picks in SGA and Jalen Johnson, but Jalen keep missing games hurts.
We had the same number of moves.
Yeah, I made them all in like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, seven moves, whereas you got Marcel who's in second. 35 moves.
Oh, is he like Mookie?
Nah, I think with basketball, if you use your moves, like if you have players that you can flex in and out, you can gain 3 or 4 games on your opponent every week.
Yeah.
And he utilizes that as a strategy.
Too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Theo's second, 23 moves. He's in 4th place.
Yeah, Theo knows a lot more basketball than I do. He's a super fan.
You on your way though, man. You know, Hawks fan.
I've been a Hawks fan, but I'm
Adam
not
Silver's gonna give you a better brand of basketball here.
We'll see. I'm curious to see what ideas they have, right?
So it's not always about taking something away, right? Sometimes it's
addition
subtraction by addition.
It's usually addition by subtraction.
Yeah. Like you incentivize points in the paint. I don't know how you do that.
Make them worth 3?
Yeah. Just flip the scores. Like now 3s are worth 2 points and 2 is worth 3 points.
Dude, scores would be crazy. You would see
I don't know, man. You know the Celtics, over half their shots right now are 3s.
Yeah, but
and they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league with missing most of them.
I think the Hawks are 6th in the league in scoring.
Let's see, team stats.
I think I saw that earlier today.
Yeah, 6th.
Yeah.
6th in points. Really tied for 5th. Ugh, Chicago is 5th in points, huh?
The Bulls?
Yeah.
Well, we beat them with our G League team, so.
We did.
There you go. I wanna go check out that venue. Go to a Skyhawks game.
I hear it's real nice down there, man.
I hear so as well. Maybe we'll get out there.
This is nuts, man. Looking at Boston's numbers. Yeah, they're 4th in points. They're right ahead of us. But to have more than half of your shots come from behind the arc is just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Were they going to limit you to a 20? You can 20 3-pointers a game, everything else you shoot from beyond the arc is only 2?
I mean, it sounds far-fetched, but that's, a decent solution.
Literally, how do you do it? Like, you
I was trying to approach it like you do something that incentivizes twos,
it's
right?
addition
As
by
opposed
addition,
to, yeah,
not a subtraction
subtraction
by
by
addition.
addition.
No, it's addition by addition,
Yeah,
adding to the
but I don't
game.
know how you do that. Uh,
Ah,
I don't know how I'm gonna accomplish it actually. Yeah,
he
he
says he
said
can.
it though.
He said he can. Empty
He's a
promises.
bald man. He looks like a wizard, so maybe he can make it happen. He got some magic in his pocket.
Yeah. But all right, man. We are coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we've provided more than enough bonus content for like
We have.
4 episodes. So I just say we go ahead and we call it a night. If you have made it beyond the first half and all the way through the second half, you are a super fan, and I'd like to meet you. If I don't
Get a life,
already,
you bum. Aren't you supposed to be working? Where's that spreadsheet you were supposed to have finished? I got love for you.
Yeah, don't let him down talk you. No, but if you made it this far, we truly do appreciate you. All your supports, comments, likes, subscriptions, they help us out, and we are forever indebted for your love. So, with that, what you don't like my endearing?
Forever indebted for your love is wild, bro.
I don't know. I'm not a
with you,
poet. I just love sports and I like talking about them.
Yeah, I can tell. You met the right one. I'm here with you for the long haul.
Yes, sir. But all right, man. Appreciate all y'all, and signing out.
Catch you on the flip.
Peace.